At that point, that's when you realize you got to do some homework. You know, you got to really pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
And then Obama, and then Trump, and there's just so much going on. I can understand people getting overwhelmed and just saying, well, if Facebook said so, it must be true.
Yeah.
Wikipedia said so, it must be true. And those are not good sources of information. You actually
not
have
as
to...
sole sources, yeah.
No, you have to do your homework and so that you could be a part of the conversation, because you get not miscommunication, but you get misinformation.
Yeah.
You get information that's not...
Or you just get people who are just like really passionate and they don't...
They're triggered, but they don't know why they're triggered.
They don't know, yeah. They don't know really what to
They
do
don't know.
about it. I swear, one of the most funny things, so on a slightly lighter note, but still related, one of the funniest things for me is, you know, sometimes you get that occasional person who really is like mad at something. I do this. Like, I go on my oh my God, Dina knows me. Sometimes I just get on this high horse and
I just sit here and I'm trying not to laugh.
I
so
would
cute.
just do my Hitler, and all I need is the, you know, not here, not on camera.
He gets all ghetto. He's like, look, dog. He does. He gets all ghetto.
Oh
it's
man,
so
I
funny.
break out the dog
He
and
does.
I
And
use
he starts
I
cussing.
use the N-word.
He does. I don't like that. But
I just you didn't hear me use it?
no.
Oh, I slipped it in there.
Oh,
No,
I don't
amazing.
like it.
That's
I don't
amazing.
like the N-word.
Yeah.
Because if I can't say it, you can't say it. That's all I'm trying to say about that.
Dude.
And I don't feel
it
right.
It doesn't work like that.
Okay, so how is it, and then that's a wholly different topic.
Whatever, yeah.
But
we're here now.
you brought it up.
I did.
It's your own downfall.
I'm ready.
With arms wide open.
Bring
Okay,
it.
anyways. So
Bring it.
my thing is,
Yeah.
if I can't say it, then neither should you. Because I understand where that word comes from. And I know the derogatory, negative notion of it.
Are there any words that you say in Spanish that I'm not allowed to say though?
That's an interesting thing. No. Because we've been called spics and
Are there words?
beaners and whatever.
But are there words that Hispanics are allowed to say that I'm not allowed to say? You don't need to tell me the word. No? Are you sure?
Yeah, I can't think of any. No, I'm being serious. I can't think of any. Like if you said...
I see the halo over your
No,
head.
no, I'm being serious. If you
Okay.
said you're a beaner, I'd be like, okay, I am. And like, it wouldn't ruffle my feathers.
It wouldn't, you don't have those words that are offensive coming from me, but not from you.
I mean, you can call someone a whore, but a whore is a whore. I mean, a puta and a whore is the same thing. I mean, don't call me that when I'm not, but that's not a Hispanic word that you can't say. You know what I mean? Like, at least I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get corrected.
I tried to explain the N-word to people.
No, you did.
But
the thing is, the N-word is a derogatory term that white people gave to black people.
no.
Or black people gave it to y'all. I don't know.
No.
My thing is, if it's negative and it means a certain thing, and then you call each other that word, I kind of feel like you're being disrespectful to each other. Then how the hell are you going to grow as people?
You're right, on a big social level. It's just kind of a really bad habit. I picture a baby with his rattle. You know, that's just what we do when we use the N-word.
And then you get the chip on your shoulder, and you get like mad because you're being treated unfairly. And I'm kind of like, well, you kind of brought it upon yourselves.
Well, not all of it. We didn't bring all of it upon ourselves, but...
But black people sold black people. Yes, that's how slavery started. To Europeans.
So it wasn't just black people. It was just...
No.
I mean,
but I'm just saying...
That's just regular culture.
But I'm saying you can't blame the white people for getting a good deal.
I don't. Oh my God, a good deal, damn.
Okay, if they said, hey, we need the manpower, the oxes are just not working out. Hey, we have some slaves here.
We got some humans here.
We got some humans here, and it's black people selling black people, and the white people are going like, we're getting a really good deal here. Let's jump on it. And so they did.
I got you.
I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for that, but it's the truth.
I don't. Maybe you will. But
and so when I hear the N-word, I think of that, and I think that's one fucking rude because y'all have grown so much. We've all grown so much.
We?
I feel like we have as a society. We're kind of digressing a little bit now.
As
like
an
regressing a little bit.
as an
we
anthropologist,
are. The last year we've regressed a little bit.
Savage,
we have regressed a little in the last year.
Yeah.
But I feel as a nation we really have grown. Just by
our systems have grown and kept us civilized,
Absolutely.
but I don't think as humans we are any less
I think we did
No.
because it's making us. Yeah, we have the segregation,
Yeah.
but people are noticing those segregations when before they were just kind of. We don't see those segregations.
Yeah.
We actually notice it now.
Oh,
But
yeah.
before we could give a shit.
There you go.
So that's how I feel we've grown. But how can we grow and continue to grow? And how can black people keep growing if they keep using the derogatory name that was meant for slavers
Okay,
and
look
slaves?
though. So I talked to Dina about this offline before. Let me see if I can give you the really short version of the N-word.
Go ahead.
Look, I'll just
Go
say
ahead.
it because whatever, we're not gonna
I
leave it.
can't.
Okay, so
That word just disgusts me.
nigger is put on me.
Correct.
Nigga is a morphed version, which is
Right.
kind of like saying dog or homie or any other 90s slang that I have in my lexicon here.
And he uses it a lot.
I use dog a lot. But
And I say yo.
and
So
it's rubbing off on you.
I
It's rubbing
can't.
off on you. Okay, but the thing is that the ER version is derogatory. Like, we don't really...
But I can't say either
okay,
one.
hold on. I'm just telling
So
you.
it's not fair.
Okay, ER, and that's true. Okay, ER version is derogatory.
Right.
The A version is not. It's
The
a term of
friend or
it's a-
endearment
yeah,
or
It's a
whatever.
term of endearment,
Correct.
but
But I just can't come up to him and be like, hey, yo, my aunt, and
Okay,
then be like
okay.
totally cool with it.
Okay,
I
so-
can't.
but-
Even if I was married to a black person,
no,
I
you
wouldn't do
can't.
that.
No, you can't. And the reason is because we're simply trained that way. That's it. So when I grow up and
So
I'm,
it's okay for you to be derogatory towards your own people.
it's not considered
because
derogatory.
That's gonna make
Hold
you
on,
grow.
hold on. It's not considered derogatory towards my own people. That's the big thing. A lot of people get that confused because it is a no-no term for them, and so it has this derogatory definition, derogatory connotation from the outside, but on the inside it's just not like that, and it depends on context. The context part is a whole other discussion, but the bottom line is that if I grow up hearing something from age, I don't know, 3 all the way through adulthood, and it's just a fun, hey friend, hey man, if it's just as light and just as friendly as that, that's how I learn it. That's why it's allowed. That's why it's allowed. Okay. Now, why it's not allowed for you is because I'm also raised that when people who are not as dark as me, and it really is a skin color thing, it doesn't even matter. It's like if you were black, but you had your skin color, it would still make me cringe to hear you
Like
say
if I
it.
was albino or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's really tied to skin color and not necessarily race, and that's because as I'm being raised to have a bunch of dark people say it and have it be, yeah, we're on the same page. But whenever a person who is light says it, all the dark people around me are like, "Argh!" And there's an anger associated with that too. I'm trained in that too. It's classical conditioning, right?
It is.
It's just like
But it's a whole
you're buzzing
thing
and the rat's like, oh my god, I'm gonna get shot.
Yeah, but it's the same
But-
thing that it goes back to what we were talking before.
Yeah, but it's training. That's what it is. Why can't you use it, but I can use it? It's because I was trained to have that double standard. That's all there is to it. And I guess the other question is, why don't we stop using it?
Yeah.
Because there's no reward in it. That's why. I get the, so we've talked about race, right?
Right.
Prejudice and racism. If I go out and I decide not to use the N-word, even though I've been trained that it's perfectly okay, and I just behave, you would be shocked how much I am still shitted on. There is no reward in me behaving better. In fact, those of us who are rich, who are still, Samboing it up, who are still in sports and entertainment, are comedians or whatever, they get rewarded. They get rewarded for acting that way. Oh, they're funny.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, they're rich.
That's very
So,
true.
like, what's to stop me from being Kevin Hart or Ice
Or
Cube
Wanda Sykes
or
or whatever.
Samuel L.
Yeah.
Jackson?
Yeah.
What? How come I can't be like that? They can use the word as much as they want. I guess when it's a position of entertainment and you can get some use out of me using it, I'm okay. My self-esteem is built up as whatever. What the fuck is the reward in us dropping that word? None.
And also, it's I kind of also have seen that your culture is encouraged to misbehave.
Yes.
Like if you're not, then you're not real black.
Yeah. Yes.
So we
That's
go back
true.
to the real,
That's
the
true.
real Hispanic, real black.
Sucks, doesn't it?
Wow.
When you don't have your own individuality and all you know is that whole real black person does this. Because truly, my only excuse, I guess I finally got to it for myself too, my only excuse for the N-word is that we were trained to have the double standard. That's it. And it works. It works for us and there's no reason to change it.
I don't agree with it.
It is really, really fun.
I don't accept
like,
it.
oh my God. It hurts me.
But I understand.
It hurts me to not be able to drop the N-word around Dina because I can totally do that with my mom. And
oh my God.
Like we sit up here and we'll say,
this
nigga here, there's that nigga over there. And we know the difference between calling this person.
I just learned.
We're like this person, he's just.
Maybe a few years ago,
the
differences between the ER and the A, right? Because I don't know. I mean, I just learned what a bugaboo was recently too. I didn't know what that was. I was like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand these slang words. I'm just too white, you know? Like that's how I feel sometimes. But because I wasn't raised. So let me put a little backstory. I was raised on the border of Mexico. So everyone there is Mexican. Everyone there is Hispanic. You go to the store, you go to the schools, everything's in Spanish. So I didn't know what a black person was. I didn't know what an Asian person was. I sure as hell didn't even know I looked like a white person until I went to a different school when I was 15 and had a huge, major culture shock. If you can only imagine. It was like, in your face, you know? And it took a while to really sink in when I was looking and I'm like, oh, look at all these different cultures, and what is this called, and why is your hair that way, you know, and I'm asking all these questions that people think I'm just being rude, but it's like, no, I really don't know what this is, and I didn't know that I looked European, or what that was even considered, or a white person, or thinking white, or whatever you want to call it. I didn't know that's what that was, so, you know, I'm learning new words, or slang words that I've never heard before in my life, like the N-word. I mean, I learned that in South Carolina while I was in the military. And bugaboo and certain things, and like what goes in your hair and different kinds of hair, and of course if you're mixed it's certain other different things, and coconut oil and, you know, relaxers and gel. Like I am learning so much, and but it's because I actually want to. I want to learn about different cultures. It's not just I'm even learning shit about my own culture that I don't even know about because it's gotten lost along the way. But my thing is, you know, when I'm learning these things, I feel like if people are not allowed to ask questions, they're not allowed to be curious about different cultures, because then you're just being racist.
Yeah, I know that.
Or you're being derogatory, and you're like, no.
So like, even as I explained the N-word,
correct me, you know?
and even as I explained the N-word,
me.
like I can't get offended that you don't like it. And
because it wasn't something that I didn't know and knew about until recently.
Yeah, and so the thing that I need to do is that if you don't like to hear it, is refrain.
Correct.
And that's basically what I do, except, you know, now we're talking about it.
Correct.
But I don't use it around you.
Yeah. Because he knows how much I detest that. And I really do detest that word, because I feel like it's just so derogatory. And it's just saying...
we're keeping ourselves down, we're ignorant. And it is true that when we use things like the N-words and we just kind of...
You kind of slow yourself down. That's how I feel.
Yeah, but...
Like, it's just becoming stagnant, and it's been like that for years.
But that's slowing ourselves down in the eyes of a greater majority society.
Right.
And I have to say that greater majority society really doesn't work very hard to help us do so. And
but
it's
you
not
have to help yourselves,
of course,
too.
Everybody will say that. But I take Snoop Dogg's side versus in the Kanye thing on this one. There is truly like nothing you can do about this.
No.
Nothing. And then when you there's very little you can do about your name. There's very little you can do about just how you are, how you carry yourself. And there really is an extent to which it's just not worth it to try to fit in somewhere. That's kind of a weird irony to the whole real man, real woman template, right? Because I've got pressure to be a real black person in a certain way.
Me too.
But I've also got...
As in being real Hispanic, not real black.
But I've also...
I need to fix that real quick.
I've also got pressure to look at this guy. That's okay, Snow. You're real black too.
Yes, he is. He is the blackest cat ever. Come on. You're gonna get up here because I'm not gonna help you. There you go.
Help yourself.
Help yourself.
And don't use the N-word.
And don't use the N-word. Because you really are, though. You're like the coolest black cat ever.
Yeah,
You're a cool cat.
But I've got pressure to be a real black person, but I've also got external pressure to be a real well-behaved black person.
Yes.
So.
But also the expectation of not being well-behaved.
Yeah.
Because how dare you be better in society?
Okay, so the thing is that.
And I understand where you're coming from, the conundrum.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'm the same thing with the Hispanic culture.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it had to be a certain way, and we've talked about that.
Yeah.
You know, well, you're a female, you're Hispanic, so why aren't you married? You have kids, why aren't you staying at home and popping out more babies and cooking and not doing anything? That's not just white people who do that, or black people, Hispanic people do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Or they say, oh, go to school, get an education, but what they mean is, we're happy if you just get your high school diploma. You know, after that, why aren't you married? Because that's the first thing they ask you. When are you going to get married? When are you going to give me grandbabies? I don't care what culture you're in. That is the go-to. And that is the one thing we all have in common. I don't care if you're black or Asian or Hispanic. Everyone gets asked that as far as, you know, why aren't you married yet? Why haven't you given me kids? And I don't know, your family's a little different, but I know black people do it too. And I
less on the family thing, but more on the status.
On the status part, you know, and so.
When you're gonna make big moves.
Yeah, when I make big moves, and I'm like, well, my big move is to actually do something with myself, you know, and while still trying to maintain the whole family thing. And it's not for everybody. I mean, why? Maybe some people don't want to have kids, you know, that's okay. You know, to say it's okay if you don't want to bring more kids to this 8 billion freaking population that we already have.